Hello and welcome back to my garden. For any and all new subscribers, thank you for joining me here in my garden. In case you didn't know, many of you probably already know, but I'm going to say it anyways. Don't you do it! My name is Jason and I'm growing a garden here in eastern North Carolina, growing zone 8B. The garden is approximately 2 acres. It has grown. I'll talk about that at a future date. And where we're standing right now is the vegetable garden. And behind me, I have two things going on. One, the last sunflower. And right now there's a couple of bees enjoying the center there. Sophie found a piece of, I think this was a zinnia stem. Go get your stick. There you go. So she found something to go chew on. I still have a lot of cleanup here to do in the vegetable garden, as well as many other places here around the garden itself. But right behind me here, I have my golden ticket privet that I'm using to create a hedge here over in the rose garden. And we'll go over there and take a look in a second. So show you the height of this hedge, which is, I want it to be here. So today I'm going to give it a bit of a haircut. Now it is still warm out and the privet may wind up putting on new growth, but last year, because it's semi-deciduous, I believe, here in 8B, it did lose a lot of its leaves, so no harm, no foul, and it bounced back in the spring very readily. In fact, this is the second time I'm trimming it. So this is the only downside to this plant, golden ticket privet. It's probably the same thing with many other privets, that you have to trim it so often. On the upside, it grows incredibly fast and it creates a beautiful thick hedge. So let me stop talking and let's go over to the rose garden. This is probably this is the oldest bed here in the rose garden. The rose garden is an ongoing project, as is much of my garden. Hopefully next year I'll be starting on the other side. And as you can see, we go down towards the front, but right along the back there is the golden ticket privet. It's put on a ton of new growth since, trying to remember when I last trimmed it. It might have been early summer, maybe, or midsummer. It's just fast growing. Right here in front of you, there's a Mr. Lincoln rose. I've got salvias and there's red hot pokers in here and more roses. And then there's quite a few spiders floating about. I have a lot of these little spiders. I believe they're called orchard spiders. They're not very big and they're not poisonous. They're just really annoying and I don't like the touch of spider webs. Ugh. Also, looking around here, this is another project that I have to take care of, which is trying to clean up the beds and getting rid of a lot of these weeds, as well as trimming, and it's a lot of things that need to be done in here, but we're not going to do that right now. Right now, we're going to start trimming these. So let's get to it. Okay, so the goal on this side is to eventually allow the privet to go through the fence, and then I will trim it to within a few inches of the fence itself, but it'll bury the fence, it'll make the fence disappear. And I'm already doing that. You may have seen me, I don't know if it's going to be in the final edit, but pull some of the branches through. Again, I want the privet to come through, and then I'll probably trim it to within the fence. These fence posts can be visible, but I don't want the wire fencing to be visible. The other thing that I thought about as I was trimming this was I think the new height of this shrub next year will be the height of these posts. And the reason being is because as I was trimming along here, trying to get it close to or the same height as this fence, I was clipping the fence every once in a while. Not really damaging to the hedge trimmer itself. This is relatively thin wire, but it's not something I want to keep repeating, obviously. So I think I'll grow to the height of this fence post, which is, let's say 4 feet 6 inches. There you go. If you needed a number, there's your number. But I think that's what I'll do. So this is mostly levelish. It's good enough for me now. Again, I will let this grow up because I really do think, I think the new level to be the height of the fence posts. Not that one down there, it's a little too high, but the rest of these. So I will let this grow another 4 inches next spring, and then I'll give it another cut. As long as it stays relatively flat in the future, I will be happy with it. I know there are some professional hedge people out there or more experienced gardeners who do things like guidelines and all sorts of other stuff, and maybe I will do that in the future. But for now, this is good. This hedge is still growing. It's still taking shape. As you can see, it's about 2 feet deep, which is what I've always wanted. It leaves me about roughly a 2 foot walkway because this bed is 12 feet deep. All the beds in the rose garden will be approximately 12 feet deep except for the back bed. And we'll get to that when we get to that in 2 to 3 years. This is a 2 foot walkway, and that's so I can take care of the bushes and also take care of the roses, especially, for instance, this one right here. I have no idea what it is, but it is getting sort of massively overgrown since the deer have not been nibbling on it. I still need to come back through and obviously clean up the mess that I've made today. And the hedge, hopefully next year, will start looking more complete, especially at the other end. Let me show you that real quick. I gotta take care of my climbing rows too. Maybe that'll be one of our videos for the 30-day Blitz challenge. But either way, hopefully down here you could see I have new golden ticket privets that I've planted up, I think it was last year. They're already about a foot tall or so. Next year, I expect them to be at least this high. So I figure 2.5 feet tall, if not taller. Privet grows pretty quickly, and it'll be at the height of the fence within, let's say, 3 years at least. The hedge will, again, go all the way down to the end of the rose garden here, and then it's going to go all along the front. And hopefully you could see some of these golden tickets. Some of them are quite small. This year hasn't been a great year for their growth due to the lack of rain, but they're growing, and the bigger they get, the more roots they put out, the more moisture they'll absorb, the faster they'll grow. I'm thinking that's kind of the way that works, maybe. There's a bunch of messy roses behind me here. Don't look. Eventually right here will also be another roughly 4.5 foot hedge, 2 feet deep, just like you saw over there. And that will be the front face of the rose garden. And then enjoy the rose garden, which will be one day fully enclosed, like many of the other rooms here in the garden itself. So that's it for today. This is probably going to be a short video once I get done editing it down. If you guys have any questions or comments, please leave them below. I already see a few branches here that I have to do some touch up on, and obviously I have to clean up all the cuttings that I created. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, click that bell icon to be notified when I do post a new video. I'm not entirely sure what we're going to do tomorrow. Maybe we'll work on the climbing rows. Maybe we'll be planting some bulbs. I don't know yet. I'll make up my mind sometime tonight and or in the morning. Until then, I'm going to catch you guys later. Bye-bye.